All right, well, thanks for the opportunity. My name is Andy Ridge. I'm with the Government of Alberta, the Department of Environment, and my role is the Director of the Climate Change Secretariat within the department. And our focus of the Secretariat is on broad provincial climate change policy. So from the regulatory framework to energy efficiency, carbon capture and storage, the whole gamut, even including adaptation as well as mitigation. Well, I think what is important to always keep I think front and center is the electricity contribution of greenhouse gas emissions in particular to the provincial share from the industrial sector is the most significant in Alberta. So a lot of people think typically of the oil sands and the contribution of that sector. It really is the electricity sector that is the large industrial contribution. So the role of alternative energy sources on the grid, from renewables to cogeneration, is going to be a fundamental piece of our emissions equation. So we have identified as a province the need to look at our grid as well as other sectors of the economy. But I'd say in the short term there is a significant focus on not only the promotion of renewables and alternatives through our regulatory framework, where we're seeing an offset program that's helping to support things like wind and biomass, but we also have to keep in mind we're looking at also technologies that would help to decarbonize our fossil fuel sources. So carbon capture and storage, for example, is a key play that the province is looking at as well. Well, I think the good thing about I think where we're at right now as a province is we have a whole range of tools that we can explore. There's experiences across the world that we can point to. We've relied quite heavily on having a restructured electricity market that's encouraged significant amounts of wind in particular, but we've also seen a massive investment over the past decade in cogeneration. So the nature of our market in and of itself has enabled some of that investment and that innovation. So I think the question and the challenge in front of us is how can we do more? And climate change and carbon policy is front and center for us right now, and we think there are some continued opportunities in that realm. But we also know that we need to engage consumers. We need to re-engage with the developers of cogen and wind, hear from them about what are they seeing in the market right now that's either working or not working. So I don't want to say we're at square one right now, but I think we're looking at a continued growth of demand. We're looking at supply that is going to see capital stock turnover in both fossil fuel and other sources in the coming years. So we're at a point where we need to begin to figure some of these out in terms of the long-term mix and diversity of our grid. So we have a provincial energy strategy, a provincial climate change strategy, a land use framework, all of these broad provincial visions that speak to the need to start having these discussions. But an event like this today is really about, okay, let's look at the realities that we're seeing in Alberta today and into the future, and what are the policy options. So I'd say right now we're at a point where we're in the exploratory phase, and we have the luxury, I think, of doing that because there already is a lot of good momentum going, and it's about how do we build on that and identify some of the barriers that might be currently in the way, or that we might foresee in the near future that we need to remove, so that we can continue to maintain the positive momentum that we've seen. I think it's premature to say what specifically might emerge, but I think we've heard loud and clear, no surprise, that some form of support is needed. And when we talk about support, it could be it could be a fiscal tool that provides some uplift to the industry, or it could be a bit of a push to say we're going to expect you to be more efficient in how you utilize natural gas through cogeneration, for example. So we know that there's a recognition of the need to do better on industry side. We know that there's a desire on the investor side on cogeneration. But I think part of the discussion that we're having today is where are the opportunities, and if it's in oil sands, for example, where we know that there's going to be continued growth, and how the expectation of lowering the footprint of oil sands, we have to think about, well, where is that situated in the province? What are some of the challenges that sector might be seeing in terms of transmission, for example, which could be different than if we're looking at municipalities and the promotion of district heating, and what are some of the challenges that they might have. And for them, it might be balancing the need to get some of this investment going with providing low cost, stable energy to consumers. So I think what's emerged out of the morning is that everything's on the table, but at the end of the day, there's going to be, I think, a cost in some sort, and there will be a return on that investment. It's just a matter of how do we best bear that upfront cost, knowing that as a province we're going to be seeing through more stable, secure, low environmental impact electricity. That's a long-term prize that we're all going to share in.